Man, I just got called to the table on this one. I was on my walk this morning and I got a chance to be able to see one of my neighbors, my buddy Kip. He was walking his dog. He has a beautiful dog. It's kind of scary looking a little bit before you know who it is or what it is. It's a pit bull kind of dog, whatever. And I said hello to him. We started talking. And my pops was always big on this, like, ask questions that you really want to know the answers to, because that's the only answers you're ever going to get. And I said that to my daughter yesterday. I said, you'll only get the answers to the questions you ask. And he would always be large and or very strong on me as far as asking like real questions. And I got to ask him a couple questions this morning. And as we were walking, I just asked, like, how's your walk with the Lord? And it opened up a whole conversation. It was so great. We got a chance to be able to really connect. And, but as I was walking up on him, I had my earphone in and I was just about to listen to Proverbs on my walk. And I was in. And some told me at that time, when I say something, God just told me to take the time. And this happened to me yesterday too. But, when I was talking with Kip, I said, just be careful of what you pray for, because if you pray for patience, he'll give you opportunity to exercise your patience. You pray for strength, he's going to give you an opportunity to exercise your strength. And so I said, we were just joking and laughing. I said, be careful what you pray for. But it was incredible because it was just that little bit of time that was taken there. And my pops would say this to me all the time. He would say, boy, you're never going to have time unless you take it. I just got called to the table right before I started recording right now because my wife just reached out to me. She texted me. I have 2 episodes back to back that I have set up and ready to go for the podcast. One is which I'm doing right now with you guys. And she texted me and she said, do you want to bring the dogs to the village and go for a walk? Well, I thought of my pops right off the bat, because that's what the message is today is, boy, you'll never have the time unless you take it. And I was thinking, yeah. And I texted back to my wife. I said, yeah, I'm about to record and then I'll come and see you. And what God was saying is, don't do the 2 episodes, just do the 1 and then go spend some time with your wife. So I'm going to spend some time with you guys here. And then I get a chance to be able to go and hang out with my best friend in the whole entire world, which is my wife, and which is going to be amazing. You'll never have the time unless you take it. See, I was driving back from Utah yesterday, and it's a long drive. It's like 10 hours or whatever it is. And, I like to, when I'm driving, I like to make sure that I'm, making good time. And as I'm driving, I'm getting close to the exit in Salt Lake where my father-in-law and mother-in-law live. And God put it on my heart, just, take the time. And then I heard my pops' voice, boy, you never have the time unless you take it. And so I got off the exit and drove over and spent a little bit of time with my in-laws. And it was incredible. It created a lifetime memory. And then as I was driving, I got about to Mesquite, it's about halfway, almost halfway. And I'm trying to make good time, trying to make up for time, whatever it is. And I start to get a little tired. And I heard my pops say, boy, you don't have time unless you take it. And I was like, man, I'm not going to stop and just take a nap or stretch my legs or whatever it is. And because I'm on the road and I got to get to my destination. But I listened again. And when I listened, I stopped and I was stretching my legs, and my buddy Keith called. We had a great conversation. I got to sit and chat with him, and it was amazing. And then I was driving through, just about to get to Vegas, and, my brother lives in Vegas, but my brother lives about 30 minutes. It takes about 30 minutes to get to his house and then 30 minutes to get back on the freeway. So that's an hour. And then whatever time I spend with him, you add that on. And I was thinking, there's so much justification. My brother would have been okay if I didn't stop, but I heard my pops' voice again. Boy, you never have time unless you take it. And I took that time and, I went and I spent an hour, not only with my brother, but also with my nephew. And it was incredible to be able to see what can happen if you simply take the time. And in Proverbs 10, it reiterated this. It urges us not only to listen to wisdom, but to focus on what is really important. And for those things, we are encouraged to take the time. So just hear my pops, and I hear his voice all the time. Boy, you won't have time unless you take it. And when we take time for things that are absolutely important in our lives and the things that God would have us to do, it's incredible what can happen. So why don't we get this party started?
working, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk in my shoes.
We just came off the Vibe Room there in Salt Lake City, and it was unbelievable. Baron Baptiste, I want to thank you. Janae Thompson, I want to thank you. Keith Hale, I want to thank you. Sunny Days, THC, CBG Seltzer that sponsored the Vibe Room was amazing. They were there. Everybody absolutely loved it, and it was incredible. Curtis Nider, he is an incredible musician, and he was there, and it was just a phenomenal night. It's the best Vibe Room that we've ever had, completely packed and sold out, and it was just unbelievable experience. And like I said, on my way back from Utah yesterday, as I was driving, I was like, I don't know about you, but I'm very connected with, like, I got to beat my time. I got to stay on time. I want to, set a world record for driving, which is so silly. And I get so focused on, I got to get to the end result that I don't just sit in sometimes. And, I kept hearing my pops' voice, like, boy, you don't have time unless you take it. You don't have time unless you take it. You don't have time unless you take it. And you'll always have time when you take it. And today I'm going to take the time and go and spend some time with my wife. She's texting me, and she, I get a chance to be able to do that, which is going to be incredible. Another thing that when I stopped in Las Vegas to be able to see my brother, he actually gave me this shirt I'm wearing today. It's a Run DMC shirt. It meant so much to me because he went to like an old vintage record store, and he said, man, I got you a gift. And I was like, dude, that's so cool. So me wearing this shirt is not just about Run DMC. It was the first tape that we got with explicit lyrics. My dad was all churchy at the time, and he was like, oh man, they got bad lyrics. He threw it away, but it was Raising Hell, which was the first, tape that my brother got, Run DMC. And so not only Run DMC means a lot to me, and the shirt does, but it's because my brother got it for me. And now I'm wearing it. I love it. And thank you, Rob. You're incredible. So when we go to Proverbs 10, which is part of Inchstones, this is your first time tuning in, you're probably wondering, what is this guy telling these stories for? Things like that. But what it is Inchstones, which is a series of small improvements, take you through the book of Proverbs, corresponding proverb, corresponding day. We do these little inchstones that pile up, and then you create the milestones. But it's staying in those moments all the time and celebrating them at the highest. And then the milestones happen. So in Proverbs 10, verse 1, this one was one that my mom said to me all the time. She said, call your mama and tell her that you love her. Like, she always told me this, and it's like, you don't have time unless you take it. And this is what I learned from my pops over and over again. And my mom would say this, call your mama and tell her that you love her. And see, there was a time where I got a chance to call my mom every single day, and I didn't call her every single day. When she passed, then I had my pops, and I would call him all the time, call him every day, call him every morning, whatever it was. But there's a lot of days that I wish that I could call my mom. So if you have your mom in your life right now, call her today. I don't care what's going on in your relationship with her. I don't care what she's done to you or what you've done to her, or if there's division, whatever it is. If she's still on this earth, breathing air that we breathe, call her right now and tell her that you love her. Seriously, she deserves it. No matter how she acted or what she did or anything like that, call her and tell her that you love her. And this was in verse 1. In verse 2, if it ain't real, it doesn't have any value. And this is what both my parents always taught me, is a lot of fake it doesn't have as much value as a little bit of real. And in a life full of, people saying like, well, I'll justify it with money. I'll justify it because I can make this. I'll justify it because of that. Just do the right thing. Like, when you do the right thing and you have real things in your life, real relationships, a few real friends are better than a lot of people that are following you and you have no idea who they are. And in verse 3, it says, you cannot miss a bus that was made for you. Timing is perfect. If we want the time, like if you'll always have the time when you take it, and you won't have the time unless you take it. And sometimes we think, oh my gosh, I need to do this because I'll miss the bus. You can't miss the bus because the bus was made for you, and the bus is not going to leave the station without you. So take the time to do the things that are the most important. Yesterday, I thought, man, if I get off the freeway and see my in-laws, it's going to take me 15 minutes to get there, 15 minutes back on. That's 30 minutes. I'm going to spend a little time with them. Man, that's going to be a lot of time lost. But it's not, because the time spent with them is very important, and it's the memory part of it. But I tell you, we could justify so many things away. In verse 4, make time for the right things. And that's the thing that I learned yesterday the whole time, is just make time for the right things. Sometimes it's for people. Sometimes it's for rest. Sometimes it's that you stop and see your brother, and then you get to watch your Titans. And at the time, we were actually doing well against the Chargers. And then, we got whooped. But, the game's still under protest. But also, not only get a chance to spend time with my brother, my nephew, and then I got gifted with this amazing shirt that I'm jumping up and down about in Run DMC. It's just awesome. So, make time for the right things. In verse 5, wise counsel creates perfect timing. People always ask, like, I wish I could have perfect timing. I wish I could have. But I tell you, when you have wise counsel, when you have people in your life, like my pops, like my brother, like a friend, Greg Reed, Baron Baptiste, James Dixon, my wife, when you have people who are wise and they give you counsel, it creates perfect timing, because if you listen to it and apply it, guess what will happen? The right thing at the right time, and that's perfect timing, right? And so in verse 6 and 24, rewards of doing right are endless, but never what you expect. Let me say it again. The rewards of doing right are endless, but never what you expect. And so it's incredible to see, like, when you get around people and you have really cool friends. I have a friend in Baron Baptiste, and, there's things that happen because of conversations that we have and connection points that we have. We've made friends over these last couple of months, and we've really connected and spent time. Now, the blessings that he's brought into my life weren't the things that I expected. I didn't have any expectation out of our relationship. It wasn't like, oh, I did this, so I got that. Not at all. It's just you get blessed when you keep doing the right thing. So keep doing the right thing and making great friends. In verse 7, a good name is the Holy Grail. Probably the greatest thing that you could ever invest in is your name. And when your name is synonymous with integrity, with wisdom, with love, with encouragement, with generosity, your name, a good name, is the Holy Grail. It'll help you in any area of your life. In verse 8, I hear my mom's voice, guard your heart. Guard your heart, boy. Guard your heart, guard your heart, guard your heart. Because whatever comes into your heart, when it fills up, it's going to come out your mouth. And then when you start speaking about it, you're going to start moving towards it. So if you don't want to move towards silliness, don't allow silliness in your heart. Guard your heart. In verse 9 through 11, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 32, which I think it might be kind of important. This is 3,000-year-old wisdom that we're studying, and it's incredible how applicable it is in today's society. And with all of those, so 9 through 11, 13, 14, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 32, it mentioned this over and over again. Watch this, gangster ways. Like, I remember hearing songs that say, I love your gangster ways. Like, I want to have gangster ways, right? Because gangsters don't try and posture up. They just are. They don't worry about things, right? They don't worry about the things that other people think. That's what I think of gangster ways. And gangster ways start with your feet. They go to your eyes, and then they come out your mouth. Watch this. With your feet, where are you standing? What is the things that you're standing around and allowing yourself to stand in? That will determine what your eyes see. And once your eyes see it for long enough, it's going to go into your heart, and then it's going to come out your mouth. Guys, feet, eyes, heart, mouth, right? That's what creates gangster ways. In verse 12, love will never spoil you. Love will never spoil you. I told this to my daughter yesterday. I said, there's never a time where someone will get spoiled because they were loved too much. Now, things can spoil you. Experiences can spoil you. But never, ever on this earth has anyone ever been spoiled from too much love. Love everyone. Love people. Love on them. And I tell you, like, spread it out. Give love all the time. Fill your heart with love and then pour it out onto every single person possible. This one's good. In verse 15, 16, 23, 26, 28, and 29 is spiritual hunger cannot be satisfied but with human food. Bang, bang, biggity, bang. It's mentioned a bunch of times. It must be important. Check that one out. In verse 17 and 27, What are you seeking, listening to, applying, and giving credit to? Stop for a second and ask yourself those questions. What are you seeking? What am I seeking? What am I listening to? What am I applying? And what am I giving credit to? If you ask yourself those questions and you answer those questions, I guarantee you'll get a clearer vision of not only where you've been, where you're going, but where you are right now. In verse 22 is probably one of my favorite verses in this proverb, which is Proverbs 10. And it says that, let me read it verbatim because I mess this one up sometimes. Let me grab my glasses too, and we'll take a look at it. It's Proverbs 10, verse 22. The blessing of the Lord brings wealth without painful toil for it. Meaning that God will bring the increase and they'll bring it without you working hard and saying that it was because of you. So the question is who's getting the credit for credit in your story? The story that you tell. Who's getting the credit for it? And I could tell you this, like when you give God credit for your story, right? Because there's so many things, there's so many blessings you can't take credit for. I couldn't take credit for talking to Kip today. I couldn't take credit for Barron coming into my life because Barron Baptiste, who his family brought yoga to America. He created Baptiste yoga, core power yoga, brought yoga to the NFL. This guy is an absolute beast. But you know how I met him? From a friend named Lonnie. Lonnie talked about a guy named Barron, but I ended up at a house that I got invited to in Utah, and I'm standing off to the side, and a guy turns and says, hey, I said, hey, my name is Kelly. He said, my name is Barron. I was like, Barron? That's an uncommon name. My buddy, Lonnie Paxton, has a friend named Barron. And he said, well, that's my friend. So we connected there, and everybody else was talking, and it was just him and I off to the side. There's no way that I could have made that happen. So I have to give the credit to God. And the more and more credit that I give to God, guess what happens is he continually enriches the stories, right? So ask yourself, who's getting credit in your story? Read Proverbs 10, verse 22. Also, it is unreal. That's probably one of my favorite verses in that particular proverb. Verse 25 and 30 is, what is your house built on? If your house is built on sand, it's going to falter. If it's built on the water, it's going to go high and low. If it's built on a firm foundation, it'll stand. And building any house on the firm foundation of wisdom is probably the greatest thing you can ever do. Where can we get, what is wisdom? Wisdom is the right use of knowledge. Where can we get it? It starts with the fear of God. What is the fear of God? It is simply just the respect of him. And how do we respect someone? We see their words, we see their actions. When they're in line, we respect them. When we respect God, he gives us wisdom, which is the right use of knowledge. Then he brings knowledge. Then he brings understanding, insight, discretion, discipline, strength, back to the fear of God. Bang, bang, biggity, bang. There it is right there. In verse number 31, right? What type of fire do you want in your life? Do you want a little spark? Do you want gasoline poured on the fire and it goes whoosh, and then it goes away? Or do you want long-lasting, hot burning that will last for evergreen? Ask yourself that question and then go and seek that type of fuel. God is evergreen fuel. Wisdom is evergreen fuel, right? And so it's not a flash in the pan. It's not just that spark that'll go whoom and then go away. It's the thing that will last forever and be able to create warmth in your life, be able to create love and, generosity, all those things, guys. But you want to ask yourself, what type of fire do you want? See, the question I asked in this is, that we don't have the time unless we take it, but what are the things that we should really take the time on? How do we know? How will we know the difference between those things, right? Something that is important and something that's not important, because there's so many distractions, right? There's so many things that we could be distracted by. And so as I looked at it today, it locked into like what really matters, but am I focused on the things that truly matter? So when I looked at it yesterday, did it matter that I got to my destination quicker, or did it matter that I saw my in-laws? Did it matter that I got to my destination quicker, or did it matter that my body needed to rest and stop at a gas station in Mesquite, which I didn't really want to stop at? Does it really matter that I get home quicker, or that I spend time with my hero in my brother and get a chance to spend time with my nephew, which that time is here and then it's gone. That's what my pops would say all the time. But the only way that we'll know the things that are the truly, truly important is if we stay in communication with God himself. And it's just day to day and listen to his voice, because his voice is speaking just like the radio station is on. 95.7 is on every day, all the time. But you'll only hear it if you tune into it. And so hearing my pops in my head, I could even hear him right now. Boy, you'll never have the time unless you take it. So what things do you need to take time for today? I'm going to go take time with my wife and take our dogs down there. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. This has been Proverbs 10, another episode of Inchstones. Make sure you check out the book, The Vibe. It's in the link. Subscribe, comment, share, do all the things that you know you need to do. My name is Kelly Cardenas, and I'm officially off the hot seat. Peace, love, and soul.
Nothing more on my mind. I got to shine, so every day I grind. Work in the morning, work in the evening. We's achieving, cause we believing. It's for certain, we put the work in. We ain't stopped just because it's hurting. Right before your eyes, so it's coming to no surprise. The takeover is televised. Over and over and over again. Make no mistake, we continue to win. Defeat never known, cause I will not lose. They wanna mimic my moves, but can't walk